Alright, what's going on, dudes? Alright, so I initially wasn't going to make this video for War, but, you know, we had a pretty good first two wars of the season, so I figured, why not? Let's do this. So, first up, we are on Path 7 here, alright? We were pretty sure that this was an Electro, and the person that we initially sent on Path 7 did not have a counter for Electro. So I was backup, and here I come in with my Omega Red. And yeah, you know what, this fight's pretty easy. This is actually a rank 2 duped Electro, which is really cool to see. I don't think I've ever seen a rank 2 Electro. I'd like to see what this guy looks like versus that Ultron boss in Variant 1, at the end of the 3rd chapter, with the EMP modification. So yeah, there's the first, right? And up next, we're pretty sure that this one is going to end up being a Warlock, right? So, you know, I brought Warlock with me, so I figured, why don't I just take this one too? So you know, I personally find Warlock's special 2 sometimes a little annoying to evade, so depending on where you are on the map. So I figured, let me just throw on an invulnerability boost just to be safe. And it actually does come in handy at some point throughout the fight. Now, this also had the Masochism link, so the first time I parry, there's going to be the Masochism, but once I get that infection up on Warlock, then it won't be much of an issue at all. Now, there is Bubble Shield, so I do want to try my best to not parry 3 times, and there's where that invulnerability boost came into play. I got clipped a little bit by the combo, no big deal, didn't even lose any health because it was just a medium, light, medium from the opposing Warlock. But yeah, so this fight's pretty much in the bin here. The special 2, you know, isn't too bad if you're dodging it from all the way on the right of the field, but if he were to get me in my own corner and throw that special 2, then it probably wouldn't be too great of a time, especially with Bubble Shield on. But that's it for that fight. It went pretty well. The entire Path 7 there went very well. Now up next I have this Nick Fury mini-boss. I'm going in with Omega Red, obviously. This is the aggressive armor or aggression armor node. So here I accidentally hit into his block 3 times, but it's no big deal. I'm just going to beat out his heavy, throw my heavy. Now I want to get him in the corner, and I just want to keep these spores on him and lock in that degen as much as I can. I don't want to throw too many specials here because I do want to have a special 3 in the bank. Gonna bait out another heavy. I'm just gonna throw my heavy, lock in that degen again, bait out his special 2, get him back in his corner. Now I always think that he's stun immune no matter where I fight him because he's stun immune in his 2nd phase and he's very often placed on debuff immune minis. So I fight him there a lot. So I usually go through the entire 1st phase as if he's stun immune, which I guess isn't too big of a deal, but I do make it a lot harder on myself than I have to. Now here, usually what I love to do is bait out a heavy right when his life model decoy is fading away, so I could lock in the degen on his real life, his 2nd life, but that did not work out this time. But that's alright, I'm just going to play chicken with him a little bit, let him go down to 30%. He's not being very cooperative and throwing a heavy from me here at all. He's just really hitting into my block. And taking off a lot of chip damage, unfortunately, but it's not that big of a deal. Here I'm throwing my special 3, I could regen a little bit. I think there was just 9 spores on him, but I did lock in the degen, so that's gonna all be okay. And from here, the fight's pretty much over. Unfortunately, the Essence Steel is bringing him down below 2 bars of power, but I got him right back up there with a heavy attack. Now I just want to try and bait out a special 2, and from here, the fight is pretty much gonna be over. I think I try and bait out 1 more of his heavies while he's in the corner. Yeah, now lock in that degen on him. Gonna bait out another heavy here, he is being cooperative, and I'm gonna throw a special 2 here, and that is going to end the fight. Now I did take a lot of chip damage there, unfortunately, because he just was not being cooperative with me, but it's not that big of a deal. Up next, we're jumping over to Path 1 in Section 2. We have this Vigor Indomitable Domino. We're obviously going to be throwing in Warlock here. Now, the plan here is that this is... Oh, by the way, I didn't even mention, this is the Global Evade node, so all small champions are going to have a very high chance to evade, like Domino. So I never want to hit Domino when she isn't stunned. So the idea here is that I want to just dash back, I want to parry, and I want to do either 1 hit or 2 hits. So now I have the infection on her, so I'm just going to go ahead and let her willpower and let her solve healing just go ahead and degen her a little bit, try and maybe place a bleed on her, but you know, Domino has a high chance to shrug off bleeds anyway, so I'm not too concerned with that. Now this Domino isn't duped, so I don't have to worry about critical failure, so that's nice. Here, I believe I toss off a special 3 after evading the special 1, just to heal back a little bit of health, but I might do that when I get to 2 infections. I guess I do it next time, but regardless, I like to keep the special 3 in the bank just for emergencies. Now, she's never going to get to a special 3 on this node, because every time she tries to heal when the infection's up, she's just going to have her power drained. So, it's not too much of an issue, but just by force of habit, I usually keep the special 3 in the bank when I use Warlock. Now here, I'm going to be burning her power, and I'm up to 97% health again because of that special 3. I gained 10% of my health back, which is very, very nice. Up next, we have this Buffet KORG. Now, I made a pretty decent mistake on this KORG right from the beginning. It wasn't very harmful, but it just made the fight a lot longer than it had to be. Right here, I don't know what happened, but I must have triggered Dex there, and that brought his crowd excitement up to 3, and I didn't even realize until right now when he goes unblockable with a special 1. So what that did was that brought his spores all the way down to now 10, as opposed to where I usually like to have it at about 23, 24 at this point. So I can lock in 10, but he's not going to be degenning very fast at all, which is quite unfortunate. I don't want to throw the special 2 here because I want to keep the special 3 in the bank. I don't want to be near him at all during that special 2. I just want to make sure I don't trigger Dex at all and just finish the fight pretty safely here. I was never concerned about anything bad happening, and even if I did trigger Dex and I got his health back, I still wouldn't be concerned about finishing the fight because it's just a KORG and I'm using Omega Red, and if I can't fight KORG with Omega Red, I shouldn't be using Omega Red more. But yeah, at this point, the fight is pretty much over. I just have to bait out one more special 2. It is annoying on Buffet because I can't you know, you can't Dex when he dashes in at you, so you do have to parry, and if he's not at 7 or more spores and he has his rock shield up, he'll probably shrug the stun off. But here he is at 2% health, and the fight is over. Alright, up next, I believe we have a Stealth Spider-Man Buffet mini-boss type thing. We are going to be using Warlock for this one. I did consider just using Omega Red again, but since it is the global evade, I don't want to have to deal with that, and I am just going to be using Warlock, and we're going to have a very quick, very safe fight here. So first things first, I want to build up that infection, parry, heavy, get some bleeds on him. Now, luckily, Stealth Spider-Man has like negative 17 health, so it's so this fight is very simple with Warlock. Now that the infection is on him, I can hit him and I can Dex and I can do whatever I need to do, but since it is the global evade, I just do not want to hit him while he isn't stunned. So I'm going to just back off, I'm going to parry, and I'm going to heavy, and I'm going to let the willpower healing from the bleed, and I'm going to let the bleed damage itself. And all of the degen just tick this guy down to 0, and we're ending the fight at 95% health. Threw that special 2 there just because. Alright, so up next, I believe we have a Namor mini-boss. Come on. Okay. So up next we have a Namor mini-boss. This is, now, this was the next morning. I believe this was the first thing I did after I woke up. So I was doing this fight with about one eye open here, and this one has strike back, recovery, and armor. Now, like I said, I just woken up. and I was very groggy at this point. I believe I got clipped at one point in this fight, but nothing too major. We have a full health Warlock. This fight is very, very simple with Warlock. The only thing we have to look out for is Namor's Imperious Rex, and even that won't be too much of a problem with Warlock because he's going to be degenning all of that power, or having that power drained and degenning very, very quickly. I'm just going to be parrying and just going to be heavying here. He reaches his outrage there. And as you can see, his power is draining very, very fast because he's losing it due to Imperious Rex, and he's also losing it because of the power burn on the infection. So here we are going to throw off, I believe, a special 3. Or you know, I might just keep it actually. I think I just keep it. Yeah, I haven't watched these back. This was a couple wars back, so I'm just remembering. But like you can see, this fight is extremely simple. Here is where I got clipped. I believe I missed a parry. I may have fallen back asleep at this point. But as you can see, it's a very, very simple fight with Warlock. It's actually very hard to mess this fight up. The only way that you can is if he pops up to a special 2 or a special 3 due to his outrage unexpectedly, and you get clipped by an unblockable special. But because Warlock has that power up, since he has that armor up buff that, or I guess it's just an armor buff that protects from critical hits on specials, it wouldn't be too devastating either way. So here the fight is pretty much over, and this is going to be my last fight on the first war. So first war went really well. I did not use a single item in this war. We ended up winning this war, and we are about to move on to the second war here in just a moment. There we go. So Namor in the bin there. I think the boss here was a Gilly 2099. Alright, so second war. I like these fights. This is Path 6 and Section 1. So this is all or nothing on both of these fights. So I'm going to be using Omega Red for magic, and I'm going to throw on a power boost. Now, this is one of the loyalty boosts that lasts for 3 minutes, so I want to make this last for magic, and I have a Mr. Sinister I'm fighting on this path next, and I want to use Warlock for that, but I want that power boost for both. Now, I absolutely, definitely did not need the power boost for this fight or the next one, but the only reason why I'm using it is in case this fight didn't go as perfectly as it's going right here, and she somehow backed away and she fell down to 10 spores, and then I would have to use the special 3 to drain her power so that she wouldn't use the special 3. So that's what the power boost was for. And the same situation here against this Sinister. So now in this war, the global is Siphon, okay? So this is when the villains hit your block, they get incredible block penetration, and that's why you're going to see me dancing around this guy a lot. So I have the power boost, so I start with 1 bar of power. And the plan here is pretty simple. I want to build up to my infection, but I also want the fisticuffs to kind of run out so I can parry and bleed him, so I can drain his power through willpower, right? From the bleed and from the armor break or from the parry stun, right? So here, there's about 25% left on the fisticuffs, and I'm just avoiding that Siphon damage, and he is at 12 viruses, and now he's about to be at 16 viruses, and now fisticuffs is gone. I parry 1 more time here, and now he has the infection up, and as you can see, I just kind of absolutely wasted that power boost, huh? He even threw a special 1 on all or nothing, so, you know, it is what it is. But here we got the armor break on him now. We have 4 armor breaks on him. Didn't get to take advantage of that, unfortunately, but we get to take advantage of the 2 armor breaks. He's just consistently regenerating and degenning and bleeding and taking a bunch of damage, and here the fight is already over. So, Warlock, no doubt he's the best option for fighting Mr. Sinister. Now up next we're on Path 1 again. We have an Electro. This is not a rank 2 Electro this time, so this fight is just going to be very simple. It's just going to be parry heavy. I think I'll throw in a couple mediums in there, but it's just your regular old Electro fight. To be honest, I'm not sure if his signature ability is what gives him the damage when you hit him on defense. I'm not much of an Electro expert, but either way, I'm just, you know, he is a villain, so he will be doing some Siphon damage, but as you can see, I ended this fight at about 98%, so it wasn't too much to worry about. Now up next we have the champion, and this is going to be on Buffet. So this is interesting placement. I didn't find this fight too hard at all, but one thing about the champion here is that if you're not using a champion like Warlock and he goes unstoppable and he gets you in the corner, I parried his special, by the way, so I could put the infection on him. But if he gets you in the corner while he's unstoppable, right, and he's throwing a combo at you, you can't really do anything aside from taking it on the block, because if you dex, he'll regen all of his health back. So that's interesting placement, but, you know, Warlock just really takes this guy down with no problem at all. And the champion is just not a good defender if he isn't on the final boss node. And with the current characters in the game, like Mojo, Longshot, Doctor Doom, Black Widow Clairvoyant, She-Hulk even, Stealth Spider-Man, you're not going to be wanting to place the champion on the boss node anymore. Symbiote Supreme, of course, as well, because they're just going to absolutely rinse this guy down like he's nothing. Here we're throwing 3 heavies in a row in the corner. We are dexing his specials like it's the 6.2 champion boss. We're not even worrying about Buffet. We are letting him regenerate. We are turning that regeneration into some power burn, and we're turning that power burn into a dead champion. So we finished this fight at 87%. Now up next we have a Buffet KORG. Now this is the real Buffet mini boss here, and this fight is how I wanted that first Buffet KORG from the first war to go. So as you can see, I didn't trigger Dex that time. I did the exact same thing. That's how I always do this fight. I don't know what happened there, but regardless, he's now at 14 spores. We're going to push him over into the corner. We're going to get a little intercept there. He's at 27 spores now, and from here, the fight's over. He's throwing a special 2. Go right in. I believe I don't toss my special 2. Oh, I got a heavy here, and now he's degenning so fast, and he's already dead. That fight lasted about 30 seconds there. I was supposed to take the Sabertooth that's right there with Warlock, but I guess somebody else did me a solid and took him. But I do have this debuff immune Killmonger on the Siphon global node. So this fight potentially could be extremely nasty. So we're going in here with the medium attack. I'm going to try to take as little amount of blocked hits as possible, but it is it is debuff immune, so that I'm going to have to take some blocked hits. But as you can see right there, when I had 2 Siphon charges, that did about 5%. Yeah, so just bait out the special 1. He has Reverb up now, but this is my last fight with Omega Red in this war, so I'm not even worrying about his reverb. At this point, I've kind of stopped caring about Siphon too. He's about 35% health left. He has 30 spores up. I'm going to bait out his special 2. I'm taking some hits on the block because I just want to stay as close to him as possible, because like I said, I'm not using Omega Red for anything else in this war. Get rid of those indestructible charges, keep a bunch of spores on him. He only has 10, unfortunately, but I am going to throw off my special 2. He is down to 5% now. I'm just going to stay near him, and I'm going to let him degen, intercept there, and the fight is over. Alright guys, that's going to be it for me. These were the first 2 wars of the season. We did win both of these wars. Unfortunately, we are going for Platinum 1 this season, I believe, and we did have a very, very strong start to the season. So if we were going for Masters, I'd feel very, very good about it. But either way, feeling really great about the start of the season. Yo, how do you do in your first 2 seasons of war? Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed those fights. Subscribe if you enjoyed those subscribe if you enjoyed the Dexes against the champion boss. And I'll be seeing you later.